Welcome to Video Time with TramEngineStudios. Enjoy!
Dear Christopher, here is your friend Thomas the Tank Engine. He wanted to come out of his station yard and see the world. These stories tell you how he did it. I hope you will like them because you helped me to make them. Your loving Daddy.
Today on the island of Sodor, Max and Monty cause some festive chaos. And James learns some cracking facts. But first, let's see what the engines of Sodor are up to.
It was a snowy afternoon on the island of Sodor. James was taking Jack and Ned back to their yard. They had just finished their last building project before Christmas. Jack and Ned were very excited.
I can't wait to see the tree, all covered in tinsel.
And with the star on top. So magical.
You should see what we engines do at Christmas. One time, we all gathered at Tidmouth and wore Christmas hats. We even met Father Christmas.
Wow!
I wonder if we'll get hats.
The hats we had were on our funnels. If we wheezed any steam, it would disappear into thin air. Anyways, I even had a picture with Father Christmas and was put in the newspaper. It made me feel so splendid.
I want to meet Father Christmas one day. He sounds cool.
I'm sure we will one day, Ned. One machine can only dream.
Hey! Watch out, Jack!
Oi! Watch my paintwork. Dirty machines. Ugh.
Soon, James arrived at the yard.
Here we are.
Home at last.
Thank you, James.
And Merry Christmas, James. And a happy Thanksgiving and a new
What
year.
Ned and Jack hadn't realized was that Max and Monty were up to mischief, as usual.
Oi, Monty, I'd better come race to the Christmas tree quicker than you.
Yeah, right. Last one to the Christmas tree's a rusty old lorry. Ready?
Set,
Go!
But then there was trouble.
Max! Monty! Look out!
The tree!
Uh-oh.
Max and Monty applied their brakes. Max was able to stop, but Monty couldn't.
Whoa! Oh! Timber?
I am very disappointed in you two. Thanks to you, the Christmas party will be ruined.
But Monty hit the Christmas tree, sir, not me.
But you were the one who wanted to race the tree. It was your fault too.
Was not.
Was too.
Silence! You can both stay here and think about what you have done. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to find an engine who can bring another tree before the party.
And the fat controller left. Max and Monty felt terrible. Max and Monty were looking up at the starry night. They still felt bad for what they had done. Just then, Kelly rolled up.
Evening, lads. You've caused quite a bit of trouble today, eh?
Max and Monty didn't reply.
Well, because of you, the fat controller has decided not to have you come to the Christmas party.
Max and Monty looked up at Kelly in horror.
I'm sorry, you two, but unless you can own up for the damage you made, no one will ever speak to you again.
And Kelly rolled away, leaving Max and Monty all alone once more.
I feel so bad. I wish I could turn back time and go back to before I crashed into the tree.
And if I could turn back time, I could have stopped myself from challenging you to a race.
I guess we better go and own up for nearly ruining Christmas.
I agree. I don't want to be alone at Christmas. I want to spend it with everyone around us.
Christmas just isn't the same without your friends.
You know what, Monty? You're right. Let's go before it's too late.
And Max and Monty roared away to find the Fat Controller.
Sir, we're sorry for what we did.
We really didn't mean to ruin the Christmas party. We just wanted to have some fun. But
We really took it too far. Please forgive us, sir. We don't want to be alone this Christmas.
The Fat Controller thought for a moment.
Well, I can see that you two are very sorry. Okay, you can come to the Christmas party.
Oh,
thank you, sir.
So, the Fat Controller went with Max and Monty to the party. At the party, everyone was having a fun time.
I will say, I do quite like this new tree.
It looks pointier.
I agree, Ned. Although, I do feel sorry for Max and Monty. They must be very disappointed that they couldn't come and enjoy the festivities.
Huh, good. It serves them right for what they did.
Just then, Max and Monty arrived.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you all are enjoying the party. Now, I have brought Max here as they want to say something to you.
Go first, Monty.
Well, we're sorry for how we caused the tree to fall down and nearly ruin the party. We thought we were having fun.
But after being left alone in the shed, we realised it wasn't as much fun as we thought.
Everyone was silent.
Apology accepted.
Me too.
Me too.
Me 3. Oh, is it 4?
Max and Monty were so happy, they honked their horns in delight.
Merry Christmas, everyone!
Merry Christmas, Max and Monty!
We'll be right back after these advertisements.
Thomas Take and Play playsets open up for adventures wherever you go. Thomas visits Cranky at the docks. Then it's past the farm to visit Percy delivering the mail.
Hello, I'm Percy.
And finally it's off to Tidmouth Sheds for a little rest.
I'm a really useful engine.
Thomas Take and Play playsets, new from Fisher-Price.
OK team, raise up the construction tower and let's get to work! Bob and his crew have lots to do. Come on, Muck, we need those bricks. Use the crane to winch them to the top. Great work, team! Bob the Builder's Deluxe Construction Tower.
From character.
Oh, look at those.
Joe Jizzle and the D-Doggy Daddy.
Hi, Freddie.
I thought you were DJing tonight.
Can't. Lost a deck. What are you doing?
Just a weekly shop.
Salmon things? Volley-vulos? Hang on. Are you having a party?
No.
Awesome.
It's just your mum's new diet. Tiny food.
So this party food all cooks at the same temperature?
You are having a party. Sick.
It's just
a
a
stuff for
small...
the freezer.
And Captain Beatbox here is on the guest list.
We gotta run.
Yup, me too.
At Tesco, we help make Christmas easy with our finest party food that all cooks at the same temperature. Tesco, every little helps.
Push, son, push. I can't shift it, Dad. One of you will have to get out.
You get out! No, you get out!
I think it's added.
The post office now offers great value personal loans.
Oh, that's good. I can sort it all out over the phone.
It's quick and easy to apply, and a typical APR is just 6.9%.
Oh, wicked.
Stop messing about, son. You'll scratch the new car.
The post office, for the little things that make the big things happen.
Now back to video time with TramEngineStudios.
Here are lots of dots. Join the dots together and you'll see one of the Fat Controller's engines.
Can you guess which one it is? Here we go. There's the tall funnel and the dome. Around the cab and the engine's coal tender. There's lots of wheels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pairs. This engine is almost the same shape as Edward, but it's a different colour. Red. It must be James. Hello, James.
James gets cracking. It was a bright spring morning when James puffed importantly into the yard. Sir Topham Hatt had an unusual job for him today. "Well done, James," he said. "I see you have plenty of steam already." "Yes, sir," replied James eagerly. "That means you can set off right away," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Where to, sir?" asked James. "To the Battery Farm," said Sir Topham Hatt. James's driver climbed out of the cab to talk with Sir Topham Hatt. James couldn't hear what they were saying, but he tried hard to listen because he was puzzled. James had never heard of a farm for batteries before. He'd seen the signalman put batteries in his transition radio, but he didn't think that they came from a farm. James was soon pulling hard up the hill, away from the station yard. "A battery farm! A battery farm!" he puffed to the freight cars. "It's not far now, James," called his driver. "Farmer Finney is meeting us at Titmouth." As they pulled into the station, they saw the farmer waiting on the platform with lots of wooden crates. The crates were loaded carefully into James's freight cars. Farmer Finney waved them off. "Take care," he called. "Why do we have to take care of batteries?" James spluttered to himself. "Come on, James," shouted his driver. "We have to deliver this to the school by 10 o'clock. So James went full steam ahead along the track. But there was something up ahead. A line of hens were flapping about on the track. "Stop, stop, stop!" shouted James as his driver leaned hard on the brake lever. With a bang that it clunked, James stopped just in time. But his poor car was thrown off the rails, and broken eggs lay everywhere. "What a mess," sighed James's driver. "Eggs?" said James in surprise. "I thought they were batteries." James's driver laughed. "Farmer Finney keeps hens and chickens who lay lots of eggs. That sort of farm is called a battery farm," he explained. James did feel silly. They were interrupted by the sound of Terence the tractor. Farmer Finney had come to see what had happened. He was surprised to see that some of his hens had escaped and was sorry that they had caused an accident. "What can I do to help?" he said. "You can deliver some more eggs to the school while we get help," said James's driver. "The children need them to make pancakes." The farmer agreed. "I'll hook up a trailer to Terence and drive slowly so that no more eggs get broken." It was a day of surprises for James. While the railway staff helped put the car back on the rails, the driver told James all about Shrove Tuesday. People make a batter using eggs and cook it in a big frying pan to make delicious pancakes. The school children are making pancakes today in their cookery lesson, he said. When the farmer returned, he had something in his hand. It was a frying pan. "A pancake!" cried James. "With lemon and sugar," said the driver. The children had made them a special pancake. So before they got back to work, the driver, the farmer, and the workmen shared the big pancake, and James looked on happily.
Hello there, and welcome to the Tenley 10 segment. I hope you enjoyed the following videos. Stay tuned!
In all these years I've known him, I've never seen Mr. Conductor so exhausted. It's as if he loses more hope every day.
And in all the years we've known him, we've never seen him in a jam he can't get out of. You should have more faith in him, Thomas.
It's not that I don't have faith, Annie. This is different. We've never seen him in a gold dust crisis before.
A time of crisis is exactly when he needs us most.
Crisis? Goodness gracious, we're late. But why is that signal still red?
Sorry for the bump. Didn't mean to scare you. Helps in the intimidation, I guess.
Oh, not you two. I don't have time for this. I have a train to pull. If I can just figure out what's going on with that signal.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Yeah, we told the signal when you were having problems with your motor.
Said you might be delayed a little.
I'm a steam engine. I don't have a motor. Although I'm a bit concerned the signalman didn't come to that conclusion on his own.
Alright, that's enough.
Let's get down to business.
Yeah, buffer business.
Buffer business.
Buffer business?
Yeah, we know Mr. Constructor.
Mr. Instructor.
Mr. Conductor.
Who cares? He gets here in his magic railroad.
And we want to take a ride on it.
I thought we wanted to destroy it.
But doesn't it just sound lovely?
You gotta find it first, and you know where the buffers are, so...
Yeah, so just, tell us.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Come on, don't be like that.
Yeah, give it a rest. You're hurting my brakes.
Unhand me at once, you brute!
Sorry, Clanny. I mean, Annabelle, Mrs. Coach can't do that.
The boss needs an answer.
Let me go! Let me go! Let me go!
Is there a problem, Thomas?
More an annoyance than anything. They won't let me go.
Well, we will let you go.
Just tell us where the magic buffers are.
The boss wants them broken.
Served on a hot flatbed.
Smashed to smithereens.
Magic buffers? You're holding up a train over some silly make-believe?
Don't play dumb, Big Green.
Big Green Lima Bean.
Have you ever seen a lima bean?
Boss eats them all the time. Good source of copper, you know he loves that.
That's enough! I'm not going to say this twice. Don't interrupt our work again, or I'll give you some broken buffers to take back to your boss.
You'll be sorry.
Yeah, the boss will make you wish you just told us about the buffers.
Yeah, and go blow off some steam while you're ready.
Isn't that all they do?
Figure of speech, Nimrod.
Thank you, Henry. Those two are...
A real bother, I know. I'd like to know who convinced Sir Topham Hatt to bring those diesels here, especially while he's on holiday.
And with Mr. Conductor the way he is, I'm worried what we'll do next.
Mr. Conductor will be fine, Thomas. If anyone can get themselves out of a jam, it's him. We need to focus on our work. It's what Mr. Conductor and Sir Topham Hatt would want from us. I wouldn't worry about those diesels. A giant claw doesn't scare me, and it shouldn't scare you, Thomas.
No, certainly not.
We'll stick together, like we always have. They don't stand a chance then.
One simple thing. You couldn't get the job done.
We're sorry, boss.
It was that big green tin can.
It was very big.
And green.
And persistent. There were no magic buffers.
We know there are magic buffers. They were trying to fool you. You fools. You can't get that stuff these days. Benji, calm down. Now, they know that we know about the magic buffers. They will be watching our every move, guarding every set of buffers we go near. We'll need to find another way to destroy
Hey, boss.
In case you forgot.
We need rails to get to the buffers.
And it's like you said, they'll block us from every path.
I know what I said! We don't have to get to them by rail. If we can get to them by road.
You're gonna give us tires?
Let me go!
We will not let you go.
Let me go!
We will not let you go.
Let me go!
We will not let you go.
Let me go!
The Tenley 10 segment will continue after these messages.
Oh yeah.
Hello, pretty ladies.
Oh yeah.
Vimto, seriously mixed up fruit.
Welcome back to a magical world where a very special friend invites you to hop on board for another fun-filled year of adventures. See him returning to YouTube screens. It's Thomas the Tank Engine.
I'll save a seat for you.
Join Thomas in a number of brand new stories, shorts, remakes, and song covers.
What?
The engines tend to get themselves into all kinds of mishaps.
Oh dear!
Fiddlesticks!
Sometimes
Botheration!
things can get a little bit weird.
The lights are green for you now, Bertie. Green for buggers. Or snot. To beat you down that hill, I'd need to grow a drill and be an excavator.
Page 3 material.
Join Thomas and friends on Tenley 10's channel this year, 2020. Welcome back to the Tenley 10 segment. Stay tuned.
Bertie and Thomas. Bertie the bus engine was waiting magnificently at the junction when an inferior steam bus arrived. "Hello," said Bertie. "Who are you?" "I'm Thomas. Who are you?" "I'm Bertie. I run this bus lane branch line. I've come to help you with your passengers today." Thomas peeped. "Help me?" said Bertie. "I can travel faster than you." "You can't," said Thomas. "Can you?" "I can," revved Bertie, "and I'll race you to prove it." Their drivers agreed to the race going ahead, though usually they'd just defer to the genius that is Bertie. The station master said, "Are you ready? Go!" Bertie could always go faster first, then quickly drew in front, leaving Thomas far behind. "Why don't you go faster? Why don't you go faster?" called Red Coach and other Red Coach. "Wait and see, wait and see," honked Bertie. "Ding ding! He's a long way behind." Bertie had remembered the level crossing, and, sure enough, there was Thomas, fuming at the gates as they sailed gaily through. "Goodbye, Thomas," called Bertie. "Cinder blocks and asphalt," Thomas wheezed. After that, the railway left the roads, so they couldn't see Thomas. They had to stop at the bus station to let beep, beep, beep! Not a chance, I'm winning! Hey! Took my exhaust pipes, peasants! Come along, come along! We're coming along, we're coming along! Sang Red Coach and other Red Coach. Vroom, 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 panted Bertie. Then he looked ahead. There was Thomas peeping triumphantly on his whistle. Oh dearie me! Oh dearie me! groaned Bertie. Steady, Bertie, said his driver. We'll trump Thomas yet. We'll trounce Thomas yet! We'll trounce Thomas yet! Echoed Redcoat in over Redcoach. We'll do it! We'll do it! panted Bertie. Oh bother! There's a bus station! And how to stop this time I need more fuel! Hang on a minute! Didn't we just pass through here? Then he heard Thomas. Goodbye, Bertie! You must be tired! Or exhausted! Sorry I can't stop. We steam engine buses have to be really useful. Goodbye! Oh dear, thought Bertie. We've lost! He felt better after a drink of unleaded bus engine fuel. He would not give up that easily. The traffic light shone green. Hurrah, we're off! Hurrah, we're off! The lights are green for you now, Bertie, called the red coaches. Green for buggers. Or snot! Or snot, yeah, snot as well. As they crossed the bridge, they heard an impatient peep, peep, peep. There was Thomas waiting impatiently at the road signal. He started with a whee! Got chased on after Bertie. Now Bertie had reached his full speed. Thomas tried hard, but Bertie was too fast. Thomas had absolutely no chance at catching up now. Honking triumphantly on his horn, he rocketed down the line, leaving Thomas toiling far behind. Beep, 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 I win! Yahoo snubs! Hey! We've bloody done it, hooray! We've bloody done it, hooray! Everyone was there to celebrate Bertie's victory, but they gave Thomas a big welcome too. Not as big as welcome as Bertie though, obviously. You sure showed me, Bertie, said Thomas. You were too fast for me. To beat you down that hill, I'd need to grow a drill and be an excavator. Way too fast. Hey, it's Bertie the Hedgehog bus. They often talk about their race, but Thomas's passengers don't like being bounced like peas in a frying pan. That constabulary has warned Bertie about the dangers of exceeding the speed limit and the importance of the Green Cross Code. So, although between you and me they'd like to have another race, I don't think they ever will. Thomas is far too chicken for that anyway.
That is not how it happened.
How do you know, Thomas?
Because I was there, and I'm not a steam bus, I'm a sensible tank engine.
Are you sure about that? You want another race, or are you too scared I'll beat you again? Hey.
You never beat me the first time, but you're on. Although, just to be clear, there's no such thing as Thomas the Steam Bus. Ready, steady, go!
Oi, come back here! I'm gonna win!
No, you're not!
Yes, I will!
Won't!
Will! Rum, rum, rum! Here I come!
At night, when the other engines are tucked away in their sheds, you can still hear the faraway call of an engine's whistle and the clickety-clack train wheels turning. This is the sound of the post train. One train is pulled by Thomas and the other by Percy, as the loads are too heavy for one engine to do the work alone. The post is loaded into trucks at both the harbours, and the engines pull their trains through the silent stations, delivering their precious loads. On a clear night, a big shiny moon brightens their journey. But often, Thomas and Percy can't even see the stars. But whatever the weather, lamps along the track always light their way. One night, Percy was waiting at the junction. The main line train was late. At last, Henry arrived. Sorry, he puffed. The mailboat from the mainland was delayed. Come on, Percy, said his driver. Let's make up for lost time. Percy puffed along as quickly as he could, but the sun was already rising as he finished his work.
Never mind, thought Percy. It's nice to be up and about when it's the start of a new day and there's no one else around.
Percy was not alone for long.
Bother,
said Percy.
It's that dizzy thing, Harold.
Good morning, whirled Harold.
I always said railways are out of date, but you're so slow with the post. You should give everyone their stamps back. Post haste.
Percy was too tired to explain.
Bird brain,
he muttered.
Good morning, Percy,
called Duck.
You're up early.
No, you're wrong, sighed Percy.
I'm back, tired and late.
He rolled into the shed and fell asleep almost before his buffers touched the burn. His driver decided to set off early that evening. Thomas was waiting at the station. Thank goodness I have a chance to speak to you. Driver says that the person in charge of the post has complained to the Fat Controller about the delay last night.
But that wasn't my fault,
replied Percy. I know, said Thomas, and so does the Fat Controller, but this post person wouldn't listen. Tonight we'll just have to be quicker than ever before. The engines were just leaving the station when they heard a familiar buzzing.
I say, you two, there's news flying about. Where?
Puffed Percy.
All over the place. They're going to scrap the post train and use me instead. Wings work wonders, you know. Always.
Rubbish, huffed Thomas. That night, everything ran like clockwork. Thomas and Percy steamed through the stations, making good time everywhere they went. At a station, Thomas noticed a man looking cold and worried. He had missed his train home. We can give you a ride, said Thomas's driver, but it'll be rather uncomfortable. Thank you, said the man. Anything's better than sitting here. The next afternoon, Percy passed the airfield and saw Harold.
Hello, lazy wings. Are you too tired to fly today? The winds are too strong. I've been grounded,
grumbled Harold.
You need rails,
laughed Percy.
They work wonders, you know, always.
That night, the Fat Controller showed the two engines a letter. It was from the man who had missed his train. He thinks you are both splendid, and everyone says that a post train is the pride of the line. The Dockside Showcase will be returning after these messages.
Morning, Thomas. Hold tight. Oh, thank you. Well done. Hello. He's fallen in the water. What a brave engine you are.
This'll change driving forever, Sergey. It's completely automated.
Are you sure?
Of course. You can really just let go and relax.
Okay.
Sergey, what are you doing?
Well, you said it was automated.
No, the car insurance.
Now I check for new deals automatically. Oh, I see. Whoopsie.
Automate your car insurance with Auto Sergey. Compare the market. Keep life simple.
Car insurance, eh? What can you do?
Go compare, when in doubt, check them out, go compare. With just a few clicks, save your phone bullets, and you'll thank your stars that you went to go compare.
How much do you reckon they're paying him? He's only a tenner.
Yes, you'll thank your stars that you went to go compare.
Can we build it?
Yes, we can!
With the new Bob the Builder construction site from Born to Play. Lead Bob and the team as they work on the latest project. Bob knows what's being moved and calls it instructions.
The crane's bucket is moving. Loading the lift is loads of fun. Get ready, the boulders are rolling out.
Hear the machine team talk.
Buck's on a mission. I'm on the job, Bob.
It's great working together on Bob the Builder's construction site. New from Born to Play.
Introducing new SpongeBob SquarePants cereal. Go, SpongeBob, go!
I'm flying, Patrick!
It's the nautical hijinks of Bikini Bottom in your cereal bowl. New SpongeBob SquarePants cereal.
What?
With SpongeBob, Patrick, and pineapple marshmallows, it's part of a complete breakfast. And look for these other great SpongeBob products. SpongeBob!
Welcome back to the Dockside Showcase. Lots of people travel to the big station at the end of the line. Engines from the other railway sometimes pull their trains. These engines stay the night and go home next day. Gordon was one day talking to one of these.
When I was young and green, he said, I remember going to London. Do you know the place? The station's called King's Cross.
King's Cross? Snorted the engine.
London's Euston. Everybody knows that.
Rubbish, said Duck. London's Paddington. I used to work there, so I know what I'm talking about. They argued till they went to sleep. They argued when they woke up. They were still arguing when the other engine went away.
Stupid thing, said Gordon crossly. I've no patience.
Stupid yourself, said Duck. London's Paddington. Paddington, do you hear?
Stop arguing,
James broke in.
You make me tired. We've both agreed about something anyway.
What's that?
London's not Euston,
laughed James.
Now shut up.
Gordon rolled away, still grumbling.
I'm sure it's King's Cross. I'll go and prove it.
But that was easier said than done. London lay beyond the big station at the other end of the line. Gordon had to stop there. Another engine then took his train.
If I didn't stop, he thought, I could go to London.
One day he ran right through the station. Another time he tried to stop before the firemen could uncouple the coaches. He tried all sorts of tricks. But it was no good. His driver checked him every time.
Oh dear, he thought sadly. I'll never get there.
One day he pulled the express to the station as usual. His fireman uncoupled the coaches, and he ran onto his siding to wait till it was time to go home. The coaches waited and waited at the platform, but their engine didn't come. A porter ran across and spoke to Gordon's driver. The inspector's on the platform. He wants to see you. The driver climbed down from the cab and walked over to the station. He came back in a few minutes looking excited.
Hello,
said the fireman. What's happened? The engine for the express turned over when it was coming out of the yard. Nothing else can come in or out. They want us to take the train to London. I said we would if the Fat Controller agreed. They telephoned and he said we could do it. How's that?
Fine, said the fireman. We'll show them what Fat Controller's engines can do. Come on, said Gordon. Let's go.
He rolled quickly over the crossings and backed onto the train. It was only a few minutes before the guard blew his whistle, but Gordon thought it was ages.
Come on, come on, come on! He puffed to the coaches. Come on, come on, come on, come on!
We're going to town, we're going to town, we're going to town, sang the coaches, slowly at first, then faster and faster. Gordon found that London was a long way away.
Never mind, he said. I like a good long run to stretch my wheels.
But all the same, he was glad when London came in sight. The Fat Controller came into his office next morning. He looked at the letters on his desk. One had a London postmark. I wonder how Gordon's getting on, he said. The station master knocked and came in. He looked excited. Excuse me, sir. Have you seen the news? Not yet. Why? Just look at this, sir. Fat Controller took the newspaper. Good gracious me, he said. There's Gordon. Headlines too. Famous engine at London Station. Police called to control crowds. Fat Controller read unabsorbed. Gordon returned next day. The Fat Controller spoke to his driver and fireman. I see you had a good welcome in London. We certainly did, sir. We signed autographs till our arms ached, and Gordon had his photo taken from so many directions at once, but he didn't know which way to look. Good, smiled the Fat Controller. I expect he enjoyed himself, didn't you, Gordon?
No, sir, I didn't.
Why ever not?
London's all wrong,
answered Gordon sadly.
They've changed it. It isn't King's Cross anymore. It's St. Pancras.
There's a dockside diesel we know well, who can spin a yarn, who can tell a tale. He loves the sea and the ships that sail. Salty is his name. He works so hard, he's very, very proud. His friends all love him being around. When the sun goes down, they'll gather round for a tale or a song of the sea.
On with the sailor's song, follow on, salty song, follow the leader, ho, follow the leader, ho. Salty, tell us another one, salty, spin us another one, salty, one more story will do. Salty, oh salty, we'll always follow
you. Everyone knows troublesome trucks push their luck, get the engine stuck, but someone knows just what to do. Salty is his name. When he rolls along, he hums his song, a pretty little song, and they tag along, and his rhythm makes them follow on. Homeward bound they go.
on with the sailor's song, follow on, salty song, follow the leader, ho, follow the leader, ho. Salty, sing us another one, salty, spin us another one, salty, one more story will do. Salty, oh salty, we'll always follow you. Salty, tell us another one, salty, spin us another one, salty, tell us another one, do. Salty, oh salty, we'll always follow you. We'll always follow you. We'll always follow
Dear Christopher, here is your friend Thomas the Tank Engine. He wanted to come out of his station yard and see the world. These stories tell you how he did it. I hope you will like them because you helped me to make them. Your loving Daddy.
Today, on the island of Sodor, Thomas takes some troublesome trucks to the quarry to help his friend James. Gordon the big engine has a sneaky idea to get out of doing work. And a rail barge causes confusion and delay. Meanwhile, Diesel 10 and his friends come to George the steamroller, asking for help. Will George stand his ground, or help the evil Diesels? But first, let's visit our friends on the island of Sodor. Thomas the Tank Engine was feeling bright and cheerful. It was a splendid day. Good morning, he whistled to some cows, but the cows didn't reply. Never mind, Thomas said. They're having their breakfast. Unfortunately, not all the engines shared Thomas's attitude, especially James. He was making a dreadful fuss as he sorted about the yard. It's too bad, he grumbled. Percy and Doc get to work at Brentham Docks, and I do their jobs here, there, and everywhere. Take that! Ooh! Groaned the trucks.
Just you wait, we'll show you!
Gordon laughed. I'll tell you what, James. If you pretended to be ill, you wouldn't have to shunt trucks here or go to the quarry there, now would you? What a good idea. Oh, here comes Thomas. I'll start pretending now. Thomas was sorry to see the engines looking so miserable. Cheer up, you two, he puffed. It's a wonderful day. It isn't for James, Gordon muttered gravely. What's the matter? Asked Thomas. He's sick! Yes, he is. I mean, I am. Oh, woe is me. Yes, calm down a bit, James. Less of the theatrics. Thomas, I've got boiler ache. I don't know how I'll ever get these troublesome trucks up to the quarry. Thomas couldn't bear to see his friends so unhappy. Tell you what, Thomas said at last, I'll bring your trucks to the quarry for you. Oh, you will? Purred James slyly. Oh, why, thank you, Thomas. You are a good friend. Thomas beamed with pride and soon set off with James's train. The big engine's plan had worked. The trucks were still cross as Thomas brought them along.
If we can't pay James out for bumping us,
then we'll have to play tricks on Thomas instead.
one engine is as good as another.
But Thomas wasn't paying attention to the trucks. He collected James's stone and set off back to the big station. There was a rail barge near the quarry on Thomas's branch line. It had laid abandoned for a long time. The trucks saw their chance for mischief.
Go faster! Go faster!
The trucks, hurtling down the hill with the heavy loads, caused the old points to slide out of position.
Stop! Stop!
Cried Thomas, and braked hard, but the heavy stone trucks pushed him on.
Boss, my buffers!
And the day started so nicely, too. Thomas stood dazed and confused in the muddy river as a toad eyed him suspiciously. You know, Gordon, that idea of yours was genius. Now all we have to do is pretend to be sick, James. And Thomas will do whatever we want. James. James. What is it, Gordon? Oh. Soon, help arrived for Thomas. James took away the damaged trucks, and Gordon helped rescue Thomas. They wisely remained silent. When Thomas had been brought to the repair shed, both engines came to apologize. "I'm sorry for your accident," muttered James. "And so is Gordon. We didn't mean to get you into trouble." "Indeed," spluttered Gordon. "All the same, to help James when he's sick, even if he, isn't, well, that's the mark of a reliable engine." "We can always trust you, Thomas." Well, Thomas murmured humbly. "It's nothing, really." And with that, the two mainline engines went away and left Thomas to get some well-deserved rest.
Charming sight, isn't it? So soothing. Imagine that's you, George, fulfilling your dream. To have your own roller rink for your wheels only. Goodbye, turntable. Hello, roller rink. Just for George, forever circling it in balletic bliss. We don't want steam engines. Steam engines need buffers at the end of the tracks to stop them crashing. So we'll destroy the buffers. And when the steam engines are destroyed too, we can build them up again for ourselves. We don't want Twinkle Toes either. I have to make sure he can't get away and go home. However he's able to do that, it's got something to do with buffers. I heard him talking in his sleep about buffers, so that's an even better reason to destroy them. And then I'll make your dream come true. Get it, George?
Got it.
Good. And remember our motto. They add...
And we subtract.
Say it!
They add, we subtract. Diesel?
Yes?
Subtract what?
Buffers. Steam engines. Twinkle Toes. No.
Oh my. Uh-oh. Is this supposed to be here? No. Yeah, I figured.
tuned, all you cool cats, because MilanToon PrimeTime will be right back.
Now your child can visit steamy jungles, grassy plains, and the dark depths of the oceans to meet and learn surprising facts about the magnificent animals that live there, all through the captivating, colorful pages of Zoo Books. The publication is specially created for young readers. Each monthly issue of Zoo Books is packed with breathtaking full-color photos and scientifically accurate illustrations, plus games and puzzles. Today, through this exclusive TV offer, you can get 12 fascinating issues of Zoo Books for the special price of $19.95. When you call and use your credit card, we'll include the elephants issue as a gift. Plus, you'll also get the colorful collection of animal stickers and the tiger poster. So order Zoo Books today and send learning and fun to a child you love.
To order 12 fascinating issues of Zoo Books for $19.95, call 1-800-441-2400. When you call, we'll include the bonus elephant issue, stickers, and tiger poster with your order. Call 1-800-441-2400. You must be 18 years or older to call.
To keep me from going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I'm going to lock him in this chocolatey safe. Cocoa Puffs turns everything chocolatey. Don't go cuckoo. Phew, wait a minute. It's Cocoa Puffs. Don't go cuckoo. Phew. Cocoa Puffs, they're chocolatey. I give up. I'm Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs.
Cocoa Puffs turns everything chocolatey, even the milk. There's no escaping chocolatey Cocoa Puffs. Part of your good breakfast.
Now, Stan, Sugar Bear is a sweet, lovable creature.
But Mr. President!
These little golden nuggets with a taste of brown sugar and honey are just too tempting at one. So, we hide all the Sugar Crisp cereal.
Wow! I can't get enough of that Sugar Crisp. It's enough for today.
Now, little spike-headed one. Uh-oh. First lesson. Lesson number 2. Now we take Butterfinger break.
Crispity, crunchity, peanut buttery Butterfinger.
Lesson number 3. Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger.
And try new Butterfinger ice cream nuggets.
I'll be your best friend. You already are.
Ronald McDonald and friends in the Hamburglar Touch.
Rabble cheeseburgers.
Bet Hamburglar wishes everything he touches would turn to McDonald's cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburgers? Touch. Cheeseburger. Touch. Rob a big cheeseburger.
Don't touch Grimace.
Ah, fully. Touch my face.
It's a good time for the great taste. You haven't touched your cheeseburger.
Me and you and me, no matter how they toss the dice, and to be the only one for me is you. Happy together.
Something's gone wrong in the happy-go-lucky world of Nintendo. Introducing Super Smash Bros., where all your favorite characters go toe-to-toe in one 4-player star-studded slam fest, only on Nintendo 64.
Brewster's Little Helper is now on DVD, featuring young trainee Brewster and his friends.
I should help him out.
Together, they'll have loads of fun while learning valuable lessons about patience, responsibility, and more. Brewster's Little Helper, now on DVD.
Get your popcorn, cool cats, because MilanToon PrimeTime is back.
Skiff and the Grumpy Barge. There are a lot of different and interesting vehicles on the island of Sodor. Harvey has a crane. Hugo has a big, powerful propeller. Glyn is a special coffee pot engine. And then there's Skiff, the railboat who can travel on rails and on the water. He runs a tour line through Aldborough Harbour. Skiff may be small, but he has a big heart. One day, Skiff was sailing close to the shore on the Little Western branch line.
Can't we go out a little further, Captain Joe? I don't want to run aground.
No way, Skiff. If this storm hits, we need to be able to get out of the water quickly.
Then Skiff saw something that took the wind right out of his sails.
There's something on the beach. It looks like a boat. Oh, I told you we were too close to the shore, Captain Joe.
I do believe you're right, Skiff. We must go ashore and telephone for help immediately.
So, Skiff and Captain Joe headed back to Aldborough. When they arrived, Joe sprinted into his shop as fast as his legs could carry him to raise the alarm.
Are you okay, Skiff? You look worried.
I am, Gilbert. I saw a shipwreck on the beach.
A shipwreck? On a beach?
That's right, Duck. When a boat goes aground like that, there's usually casualties and...
Skiff, don't worry. That's not a shipwreck, that's Bulstrode, the grumpy old barge. He's supposed to be there.
Why? What happened?
Sorry, Skiff. I'll have to tell you about it some other time.
Oh, alright. What about you, Gilbert? Do you know what happened to him?
Sorry, Skiff, it must have been before I arrived, but I do know how you can find out more.
How?
This may sound crazy, but hear me out. You could always ask Bulstrode yourself.
Why didn't I think of it before? Thanks, Gilbert.
You're welcome, Skiff.
I've just got off the phone with the Search and Rescue Centre manager, and he reckons the boat's supposed to be there.
He is. Duck told me. I'd like to know what happened to him. Can we go and talk to him, Joe?
I don't see why not. We're not booked for another tour for a couple of hours. Ooh, and I can get some ice cream. Old Mrs. Davis always makes the best strawberry ice cream.
So Skiff and Joe rolled along the rails back to the beach. When they got there, they were surprised to see a large crowd of people gathered around the old barge. They were posing for photographs with Bulstrode. Skiff rolled onto a siding out of the way and waited for the crowd to disperse.
Excuse me, Bulstrode?
What? Who's there?
My name is Skiff. Hello.
You're a boat that travels on rails?
That's right. I'm a railboat.
Whatever they think of next. What do you want?
Well, I was just wondering how you got in this, predicament?
Ah, that's a story right there.
Can you tell me, if you have time?
Time? It's not like I'm going anywhere, is it? I used to be somewhat rude to everyone. Eventually the trucks had enough of my moaning. They bashed through some buffers and fell into my hull.
I'm sinking!
And so, I was towed to the beach.
There you are. Now you can just stay here. Children can play on you all day, and at long last, you'll be useful.
And here I am. Children played in me at first, but eventually the novelty wore off and I just became part of the scenery.
What about earlier? You were surrounded by lots of people.
Those are some curious tours. We don't get many of those during this time of year. I want to be really useful again. I used to dream of being back in the water, but it's been so long. I think the fat controller's forgotten about me. I don't think I'll ever feel the cool water splash against my hull again.
Skiff felt sorry for his new friend.
Okay, Skiff, time to go.
I'll do what I can to help you, Bulstrode.
Don't worry about me, matey.
Skiff rolled away. Although Bulstrode had told him not to worry, Skiff couldn't get the old barge out of his mind. He knew he had to do something, but he didn't know what.
Afternoon, Skiff. What's up? You look sad.
I can't help it, Oliver. I can't stop thinking about Bulstrode the barge. I really, really, really want to help him, but I don't know how.
Beg pardon, Mr. Skiff, but you could always try to speak to the Fat Controller about it.
Toad's right. It couldn't hurt. You never know.
Thanks, Oliver. Thanks, Toad. That's exactly what I'll do. Perhaps he's forgotten about Bulstrode.
Skiff made his way slowly to Knapford.
Oh my, it's really busy.
Morning, Skiff.
Express coming through.
Knapford Station made Skiff feel even smaller than usual.
Look who it is.
Who is it? I can't see.
It's Skiff. Hello, Skiff.
Oh, hello, Thomas. Can you...
Oh, sorry. Can't stop.
Oh...
Skiff carefully made his way across the junction and into the station. Henry was there collecting passengers.
Skiff? We don't often see you around here. What's the problem?
I need to speak to the Fat Controller, Henry. Do you know where he is?
Indeed I do.
Excuse me, sir. Henry and Skiff would like a word with you.
Yes, of course. I'll be right out. And what can I do for you two?
Well, sir, it's just... I've been thinking about Bulstrode and...
Oh, bother that telephone. Hold that thought, Skiff.
Did you say Bulstrode? Why would the Fat Controller want to help that grumpy old barge?
But he's changed, Henry. He really wants to be useful again. He's paid for his bad attitude. Why shouldn't he get a second chance?
Well, the trucks won't like it, but if you're sure, Skiff...
Listen, it doesn't sound like good news. I think Sir Topmat's ringing the Sodor Search and Rescue Centre.
Hello, Craig. We have an emergency at the Norrenbury fishing village. I need you to send Captain and Rocky at once. I'll send Edward over to assist. Yes, thank you. Let me know how you get on. Goodbye. I'm sorry, Skiff. The storm has hit the fishing village. Apparently, a fishing trawler has been blown onto some rocks. It's sinking as we speak.
Oh my, are the crew okay?
Yes, they're fine, thank goodness. But I have no idea how this will affect their business. Such a shame. The McCorbins have been supplying us with fish for over 100 years. How can fishermen fish without a boat?
I think I might know where there's a boat going spare.
Bulstrode, I've decided to give you a second chance. It will also be your last chance. Skiff says you've learnt your lesson and I trust his judgment. I am gifting you to the McCorbins at Norrenby. Their vessel was destroyed on some rocks during the storm.
Oh, sir. Thank you, sir.
Don't thank me, thank Skiff. This was all his idea.
I don't know what to say, Skiff.
Everyone deserves a second chance, Bulstrode. I'm just glad I could help you. You never know, they might turn you into a railboat like me.
Not particularly handy for catching fish.
Wait, fish?
Before long, Bulstrode was repaired and put back to work. He was happy to be useful again, even though you wouldn't know it if you heard him.
Why did it have to be stinky, smelly, horrible fish? I hate the smell of fish. Can we go a bit faster?
I guess it's true what they say. You can take a grumpy barge off the beach, but you can't take the grumpy out of the barge.
Oh, look at that seagull's done in my porthole again. I see you up there. Shoot! Shoot! You're going to catch any fish.
Stay tuned, all you cool cats, because MilanToon PrimeTime will be right back.
Can't get enough of that sugar crisp. Ah, the Sugar Crisp Factory and my old pal Stan. Hey, Stan, what's happening?
I'm stepping up security to keep that pesky sugar bear out. He eats that sugar crisp as fast as we can make it, not to mention the brown sugar and honey.
How sweet it is! Sugar bear again.
Sugar bear again? Hey!
He just hates to see me go. Can't get enough of that sugar crisp. You can never get enough.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Just call my name.
I'll be there.
At Blockbuster stores across Canada, you'll find more copies of new releases that are guaranteed to be there, or they're free. Come to Blockbuster and go home happy.
Hey kids, I'm here to tell you about two extremely famous cloners, Mario and Luigi Mario, from the Super Mario Bros. Movie. You wanna know what makes them super? Cause they triumph over the evil Koopa and his brainless sidekicks, Iggy and Spike, using only their plumbing tools, and they battle the Goombas. Koopa's hideous dino-human army. Those Goombas are scary. The Super Mario Bros. Action figures from Ertl. But don't worry, they're not real.
A man called Dad is the most important man in his life. And even though the time between them has a way of passing a little too quickly, there's one thing that can make it last. A Lionel train. For over 90 years, Lionel trains have come with something special. The power to move two people closer together and let them build something neither one will ever forget. Lionel, because no childhood should be without a train.
Chip the Wolf here. Delicious Cookie Crisp cereal there. It looks like chocolate chip cookies. Tastes like them too. But it's a breakfast cereal. And I'll get it with this. Now! Come, my delicious Cookie Crisp. Please. Just missed my Cookie Crisp.
The chocolatey chip cookie cereal. Part of this breakfast with 12 key vitamins and minerals.
Cookie Crisp. Next time it's mine.
Get your popcorn, cool cats, because MilanToon PrimeTime is back. Okay, so originally I was gonna bring back Ramblings with like a Chuggington toy line review, but that kind of fell through because this video is going to be a lot bigger than I was expecting, and I just wanted something nice and simple to get up for the March break. So here's the movie I put off reviewing for a few years. Enjoy! My gym partner's a monkey has not aged well with the times, and the Big Field Trip TV movie is pretty much an example of why that's the case. In an era of chowders and Out of Jimmy's Heads, this was about 3 notches away from Out of Jimmy's Head. Not that terrible, but like not very good. Credits due, it wasn't one of the worst Cartoon Network shows ever, and it was at least sort of fun in terms of its art direction and voice cast. Unfortunately, the show got sunk thanks to lame writing and uninspired plot lines. Ironic considering the concept of the show about a kid who pretty much gets sent to an animal school thanks to autocorrect is actually a pretty creative premise. If only the plots were just so forgettable, even though I watched a bunch as a kid. But I'm choosing to talk about the TV movie that the show did, mostly because, well, this is kind of a good example of a TV movie from that point when TV movies were big that didn't end up going so well. Nick and Disney are getting profit from the TV movie business. Harold, give every show we've got that's making decent ratings a TV movie. The end result were a couple of TV movies that actually were pretty good, and then some eggs that weren't exactly all that good. This is one of them. The movie pretty much follows Adam Lang and Jake Spider-Monkey, the two leads of the show, joining the rest of the Charles Darwin Middle School gang for the annual school band Big Field Trip. Just from that sentence, you actually get a lot of funny opportunities to work with, especially if you've been on as many field trips as I have. It's a nearly 20-year-old college student learning animation. Unfortunately, the writers kind of give up after the first quarter, and instead of going with a funny National Lampoon-style plotline, they just dump them in a forest and then just do 3 different plot lines. I'm pretty sure there's about 3. The major joke being for all of these is they're afraid of actual wild animals because the zoo animals don't have their instincts anymore, which could have been interesting, but they just wasted on jokes that get dragged out for way too long, as do most of these TV movies that have mostly inexperienced crews who were just kind of tooted out into existence. But yeah, the subplots are like Adam loses Piccolo to a chipmunk, that somehow leads Jake to becoming a chipmunk king. The 4 characters are actually funnier than the main leads. They get into Lord of the Flies thing, which they allude to, and then the teacher's doing stuff, and then Adam, like, literally the last quarter of the movie, he encounters some bears, and then stuff happens, and bleh. I probably shouldn't have recorded this while I had a cold. The movie's pretty much like actually being stuck on a road trip. You're just kind of sitting there waiting for something exciting to happen, but then nothing really happens, and you just want to do something else, but you're stuck there and you can't really do anything. There are times when they actually do throw in some funny jokes, but most of them are either uninspired, uncreative, or just kind of feel like they're there just to get to the 44-minute finish line. Seriously, some of these gags go on for like a solid minute or two. It's pretty not good. It isn't exactly made fun with the 2 main characters are kind of not really fun to watch. Adam's just Todd from Wayside with no personality, and Jake is just not fun to be around. Not even the beautiful vocals of Tom Kenny can save this poor monkey. Then again, he couldn't save Elf Boy in the movie, but honestly, I'd just rather watch this movie than Elf Boy in the movie. Because Elf Boy in the movie is just terrible. Though at least the side characters, even though they still suffer from bad subplots, are a little more fun to watch. Like, who can remember such iconic characters such as Slips, Principal Pixie Frog, Slips, Windsor, Ontario, Slips, Toucan Sam's cousin, Slips, Jeffrey the Giraffe's sister, and Slips. Okay, the point is, Slips the best character. You can't argue. Slips is just the greatest of them. Even the animation just kind of leaves me feeling, which sucks because the movie is actually kind of nice to look at times. The character designs are all spot on and the backgrounds are just beautiful to look at, and rightfully so, because they won an Emmy. Yes, this TV movie is somehow an Emmy Award winner. I don't know how. Wait, I do know how. Why am I acting like I don't know how? That's kind of redundant. But the actual character animation is just kind of like Family Guy, but not as bad as Family Guy. There's some funny poses here and there, but it's mostly just very generic and uninspired poses that they just kind of pull out every now and then. Though I probably shouldn't complain because I'm a first-year animation student, so I'm still kind of a baby. I am but a beginning bub in the world of animation. But then again, this movie spoils its ending through a freaking who's on what routine, so I don't know. Yeah, spoilers if you actually wanted to watch this movie. The big field trip is to a big field. You get it? It's a big field trip. Also, this ending confuses me because most of the movie is just kind of like, oh, the piccolo causes the animals to go to sleep because real instruments put them to sleep. But at the end, it's like they still kind of have instruments. I know they're not like conventional instruments, but they're still instruments. So I know the music is like they play is bad, but like, why? They're still instruments. But they're still instruments, so why are they being put to sleep? I don't even care. It's not worth it. I'm not friggin' nostalgic, Mr. Not So Nostalgic Critic. Overall, do I recommend the big field trip? No. It's far from worst TV movie ever territory, but it's not really worth your time or effort. It's not even so much a so bad it's good TV movie. It's just kind of like your average, not very good, dragged out, pretty much just pumped out for the sake of advertising TV movie that seemed to be pretty common during this time period. If you want to watch My Gym Partner's a Monkey though, then I would recommend you go ahead and check out My Gym Partner's a Podcast, which pretty much has like the whole first season done so far. So if you want to get a pretty basic idea of watching the show while having some fun watching the show, then go watch that instead. I cannot wait for them to give their thoughts on this movie, and also the other hour-long special that wasn't advertised as a movie, but was still kind of a movie anyway, Animal School Musical, which is actually a little bit more memorable. But anyways, that's enough gym partner for the day. I'm Milan, thanks for watching, and maybe more rambling soon. Let's see how this one does, folks. Well, the chugging one's also got to come out, so you guys are gonna have to see that soon. Anyway, see ya. Thomas and Friends, you know what it is, you probably know the changes it's been going through, and we can all agree the show's been a fandom war zone with more changes than ever before due to changing television landscapes. The recent 23rd season provides a major example for this with the sudden change of doing a trio of half-hour specials rather than the one-hour movie event we're all used to. Launching this is Digs and Discoveries, an experiment using 2 specials as a mini-series package and the main franchise tentpole for the year, while the third special remains standalone. We'll talk about that one later. The specials, entitled All Tracks Lead to Rome and Minds of Mystery, revolve around Thomas visiting Italy with the help of his friend Gina, previously seen in the Great Race movie. Over the course of the 2 specials, Thomas's crippling anxiety challenges him as he tries to prove himself an expert on everything Italian, attempts to make an exciting discovery when his friends from the solar construction company come to help out, and ends up getting lost in mines both times, all the while trying to thread together the mysterious legend of the Lost Engine, whom he ends up discovering alongside his coach. I'd say that's a spoiler, but all the merchandise already kind of beat me to that. It's kind of like not really a spoiler. I mean, they also have 2 episodes afterwards. Overall, the 2 specials are pretty fun as little excursions of Thomas messing about, but I do agree with a common complaint that these did feel pretty empty compared to even the first attempts at doing specials. There isn't a whole lot of weight or risk compared to previous specials, and it's more or less just an extended version of the international episodes we've come to expect after 2 seasons, rather than feeling like bigger scale adventures like the pilot movie for this era, Big World Big Adventures. It has fun with the formula more than a 7-minute story usually can by throwing in more action, a little more characterization, and bringing other Sodor characters along for an adventure for a change, but it doesn't really offer much in terms of weight, messages, or morals beyond not everyone can be an expert and you don't need to do big things to impress your friends. That's all stuff the fandom complains about, but my biggest problem with it is what it wants to be as a special isn't really focused. Is it a 2-part movie, a pair of standalone specials, an extended episode, a movie made up of 2 specials and 2 extra Italy episodes? We aren't given much clarity due to the fact this had to be as flexible as it could be to the distributors of the show, and overall the 2 specials suffer. It's like making 2 cakes out of 1 mix but trying to keep them the same weight. It kinda feels stretched thin, but at the same time also tastes pretty good. I mean, you can't go wrong with, Angel Cake. In spite of the special's major flaws, there was still a lot that I liked about it. While the lack of engines made it feel empty, many of the Italy sets are overall incredibly appealing to look at, and take more advantage of having a larger budget with these being long-form specials, rather than using more recolored assets than the show typically has, which, by the way, is not necessarily a bad thing. Animation takes a lot of time and money, and doing a season and a movie each year prior did a number on the animators. The stuff claimed to be budget cuts by fans who don't know a whole bunch about animation is just the result of a bunch of things piling up on them and eventually having to compensate for it. Besides, this isn't the first point of the franchise where a ton of recycling has happened. Have you seen the model series? Also among the specials positives are the new characters introduced. While I felt Esther and Brenda deserved more time to develop, though Brenda at least got an episode of her own, the cast was overall pretty strong and fun to play around with. Gina is a fun shakeup of the usual positive female characters, with her being both patient and friendly and the typical tour guide character, but at the same time giving her flaws, being prone to losing her temper and not being very patient with Thomas, who's just kind of messing about. Also, I hope they stop making Thomas a jerk in these specials, please. The Lost Engine and coach, Lorenzo and Beppe, are pretty much a married couple, with Lorenzo letting his ego drive him to adventure, while Beppe looks up to him all the same. I just want all these guys' toys. They're all fun characters. If I didn't have these Adobe bills to worry about, I would totally buy them. We also get Stefano the Super Cruiser, who is the perfect representation of how I feel about this era, because he's a fun, well-written character who also has the silliest, most obviously designed to be a toy design in years. He is pretty much just screaming, "Make me a Superstation sequel," like, look at it! Look at it! Look at it!
I want all of you to look at it!
But as we come close to the conclusion, one last question to answer is, why did we go from a feature-length movie event and a season to a season and a standalone special plus 2 specials sold as a package alongside an awkwardly handled line of promo merch? Why is Kevin in so much this merchandise? He barely did anything this season! Well, you need to keep in mind, the DVD movies were running for a decade by this point. When they first started out, they were a major event for the franchise. You were legitimately hyped for it. Now it was just a standard thing like, oh, here's a bunch of new characters we're introducing. Wow, Thomas is discovering an old thing. Boy, can't wait to see Thomas go off Sodor for not the first time again. And it's not just fandom snark, parents were probably getting exhausted with these too. You could only buy so many stunt sets every year before you're kind of tired of it. Not to mention, DVD movies were already declining by the time they were starting to do these annually, so it was only a matter of time that this would happen. At the same time, Mattel setting up a contract with Nickelodeon called for the series now doing half-hour specials rather than a full-length movie for each year, for reasons I can understand in terms of Nickelodeon's scheduling viewpoints. They aren't so keen on even 44-minute specials apart from 1 or 2 profitable exceptions. Airing bomb weeks by cutting previous movies took time and lost relevance as audiences demand more consistency in scheduling rather than dumping the episodes all in one go, and a genuine feature-length movie can take up to 2 hours to run on a block that runs really early in the morning with commercials, at least until it eventually moved onto the sub-channel itself with pretty much no promotion. Seriously, I miss all the cool commercials. What happened to them? They were cool and they were stylized, and now we didn't even get anything for this. While the execution of Digs and Discoveries is awkward, you can at least understand why it's going in this direction. Again, if only the commercial actually... Overall, Digs and Discoveries is a fun pair of extended adventures that are fun but feel sadly lacking despite what it does to up itself from a regular episode. There's some fun new characters, fun returnees, some fun action, and fun animation from Jamville Toronto, but overall it felt like that mandatory school project you had fun ideas for, but had to cut down on for time and to fit in guidelines. But fret not, because remember, there was that third special, which we are going to talk about in another video. Apparently y'all wanted this as a separate video, so I will see you in the next one. Also, don't bug people if they like this or didn't like this. Your opinions are valid, but you don't need to fight about your opinions on the talking train. Stay tuned, all you cool cats, because MilanToon PrimeTime will be right back.
Bet I'll find some Sugar Crisp in here.
Sugar Bear! Can't get enough of that sugar crisp. Taste of brown sugar and the taste of honey.
Sugar Bear, you little furball. Hey!
Sugar Crisp.
Let's go, Bob!
Can we start it?
Yes, we can!
Together, you and Lumberjack Bob can get the job done right.
Yes!
Can we build it?
Yes, we can!
Lumberjack Bob the Builder from Play School.
Cocoa Pebbles, the big chocolatey taste will hit you like a chocolatey slap for your smiler. And now there's Cocoa Pebbles Extreme. So much chocolatey flavor, it's more than any one chocolate milk mustache can handle. Part of a delicious breakfast, Cocoa Pebbles Extreme.
Presenting Mickey's Magics. New Mickey's Magic Cereal. Twinkling stars, moons, and Mickey marshmallows magically turn milk blue. But not you. Part of this completely magical breakfast.
You wanna scream? Get soaked? Go wild! Have an incredible blast? Rocket to the stars and beyond? Universal Studios. You want it? We got it.
Let's get those minis back in the tube. Now! Going in! Citizens, Everything is under control. You can bill M&M's for that.
Ooh. Tons of chocolate candy searching for a mouth. M&M's Minis.
Okay, fellas, open up.
The race is on. Starlight is coming. Starlight Express. From Andrew Lloyd Webber and Trevor Nunn, the composer and director of Cats, comes Starlight Express, the Broadway musical. Make tracks to the Gershwin Theater or call charge at 944-9300 for Starlight Express. The race is on.
It's the Pizza Head Show.
Hey, everybody! When you have a Pizza Hut pizza delivered, you can get an autographed bat and ball for $5.99. Yay!
That's great, Pizza Head, but umpire Steve says play ball.
Oh, terrific. Hey, he's not an ump!
Sure he is, and he brought Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh, hey! How you doing, Junior?
Here comes the pitch. Griffey hits it deep. Great catch! You better get your ball, Pizza Head.
Well, Junior hit it. Shouldn't he get it?
No, it's your ball.
I'll just get another one from Pizza Hut. Oh, hey,
See you next time.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Just call my name.
I'll be there.
At Blockbuster stores across Canada, you'll find more copies of new releases that are guaranteed to be there, or they're free. Come to Blockbuster and go home happy.
Welcome to McDonald's.
Oh, I'll have a crispy chicken extra value meal.
Yep.
And I'll have a Happy Meal, please.
Right, that's one crispy chicken extra value meal and one Happy Meal.
Dinosaurs are taking over McDonald's, and they're taking over theaters in Walt Disney Pictures Dinosaur. Get one of 4 lifelike puppets or one of 4 posable dinos in every $1.99 hamburger Happy Meal.
Don't forget your toys.
Thanks.
Thank you. Come again.
Did somebody say McDonald's?
Extra! Great Yogo Highs!
Moves at Yogo! Snell!
Yogo Hijack! Suspects to applause!
I'm talking hot Yogo, Barry! Hot Yogo, the real stuff!
Okay, Biggie Bear.
City Hall, the fight stop closed! These boys will crack this case wide open!
I don't think you got your best side. Yo! Hubba hubba.
I have some information that could be very rewarding.
I'm all in.
Cracks the case! Find the right clues on the Yogo list to share in $50,000 cash rewards!
I just filled my whole swimming pool with Faygo strawberries.
Help, I'm drowning.
I told him he'd end up drinking Faygo.
A man called Dad is the most important man in his life. And even though the time between them has a way of passing a little too quickly, there's one thing that can make it last. A Lionel train. For over 90 years, Lionel trains have come with something special. The power to move 2 people closer together and let them build something neither one will ever forget. Lionel, because no childhood should be without a train.
Get your popcorn, cool cats, because MilanToon PrimeTime is back.
Oh, my fearing whiskies! I'm late!
Thomas's Steam Team Rescue was the 3rd half-hour special for Season 23, and holy heck does it end off this season on a high note. At least for me and some fans. I thought it was a fun special. Digs and Discoveries, while not really bad, was relatively disappointing and negative to the fanbase, mainly due to it being a by-the-numbers package special stretched out into 2 standalones. Steam Team to the Rescue, on the other hand, had a more divisive reaction from the fanbase. It was sort of like a middle ground piece of the media, with a lot of people really liking it, while others didn't really like it. For me personally, I'm in that club of really liking it. This was exactly what I hoped these specials were gonna be like. It's like Diggs was a project your teacher had you follow specific guidelines for, while Steam Team was just them going,
Now you want to get nuts! Come on! Let's get nuts.
Other than make it about the new Steam Team, it feels like a mostly hands-off experience for the crew. No blatant attempts at selling new playsets, no forcing in elements from past specials to make it sellable. Just one big crazy half-hour special where they got to do whatever they wanted to. The special, this time around centered back on Sodor, starts off by already taking old ideas and cleverly repurposing them. Instead of the usual Sodor is a place where trains work spiel that these specials usually start off with, we start off with Harold going over the island and various locations and characters that come to play later into the story. But over at the docks, at the 2-minute mark of the special, we get Salty being punted off the tracks and sent plunging right into the ocean, and with no conveniently added jetty this time around, by the way. Like, Salty actually drowns. We open up with a train drowning in a Thomas the Tank Engine special.
Jesus Christ!
The story from here on in ends up being a domino effect as things wind up causing more problems along the railway. Porter, Salty's co-worker at the docks, gets blocked up with flour. Seaweed dragged by Salty causes an accident at the diesel works which traps all the other marketable diesels, leaving Sir Topham Hatt to rearrange work now not for just the docks but also the other diesels being put out of action. Percy ends up being sent there but can't cope with the overload. Thomas tries to go and help him but gets stuck in the backlog by Sir Topham Hatt, and the overcrowding at the docks results in a dockside disaster with Percy getting trapped, Carly nearly ready to go cranky bumps into the water, and a fire about to break out. Will our marketable steam team save the day? And is it awkward that only after a fleeting mention in one prior season and 15 seasons after coining it, do they now get revered as such?
Too much talking.
We'll see when it's available legally and find out, my dude. Gotta make sure the show actually continues, you know? Obviously, like any piece of media, Steam Team to the Rescue is not perfect. There are some flaws that I am willing to discuss a little bit. Like the Steam Team aspect being the main marketing mandate kind of hurts it a little bit because it's like, oh, these specific engines have to take care of the problem, I guess. Like, I'm glad they didn't overpush this considering this was the main marketing campaign this year beyond Diggs, but it still feels kind of weird. A season full of fun, crazy character combos, some of which do appear in the special, and you just settle on these guys. Okay, alright, we're going back to those days again. For like a special, at least not for the whole show. And of course there's a lot of easy bait for fans to be like, no, that's not realistic. Doesn't make sense. This does not apply to logic. Now, excuse me, I must return to the classic episodes of my talking steam locomotive show set on a fictional island in Britain. Those were the days. Like, I know realism was a major factor in selling the original books and series, but like, you also gotta calm down a little bit, maybe ease up. It's a kid's show. Kids mostly watch the show right now. But this is one of those times where I can excuse the flaws. It's so fun and so chaotic and so enjoyable that it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit back, relax, and just enjoy the chaos. Not to mention, it's a much better written story overall. Diggs and Discoveries felt empty in terms of its stakes because you weren't given enough reason to care about what was going on. Like beyond that mind collapsing, what's at stake for Thomas in the Minds of Mystery episode? His dignity's not been wrecked or anything, nor is he really having a falling out. He's just jealous of his friends showing up and being cool, and he's like, I can do cool things too. Check this out, I can do that cool thing, I guess. The specials may be fun, but you don't feel any risks or consequences from a lot of things. It's just kind of like, that happens and there it is. But Steam Team ups the previous specials by having the situation and problems the characters encounter get worse and worse as they struggle to control the chaos surrounding them. Little details end up popping up and affecting the plotline, which keeps the story flowing more naturally, rather than feeling like a step-by-step special with things you've seen before. I dare even to be that person to say that Steam Team to the Rescue was actually kind of relatable in terms of its conflict. How many of you have had a day or a class or a project that started off really good but just got worse and worse and more stressful for you as you went along? Steam Team has more weight to everything and just makes the ending all the more awesome, and also helps support more of a theme than Diggs could whip up. No matter how terrible or stressful things may get for you, you'll always be able to find a way through it or always get help from your friends during a stressful situation. Couple it with an incredibly catchy musical number and probably some of the funniest gags the show's done in a while, and you have a pretty fun, chaotic special overall. That all said though, there were 3 things I saw the special being compared to in the months leading up to it, even before it came out with only a description and a title. Those being the Chuggington special, The Big Freeze, specifically its first part Chug Patrol Chief, the season 21 episode also titled The Big Freeze, and the season 8 episode Thomas to the Rescue. Comparisons towards them seems to be the following. One specific type of engine, usually diesel, being put out of action, urgent cargo needing to be delivered or sorted, and 2 of these being dock specials. I find that Chuggington one a little unfair to compare to because Thomas could actually afford doing a half-hour special. Once more stuff from season 6 hits, I'm planning to do a whole video about the Chuggington specials or the show itself. I'm still kind of figuring it out. While the middle one does provide sort of a funny argument against this special, an island that's about 80% steam runs out of fuel and 9 diesels can handle their workload for the rest of a day. Those same diesels either break break down or get trapped, and the entire work schedule goes into chaos. Well, in all fairness, at least the stress of the whole situation is handled more realistically here. 10 engines being put out of work is still a decent chunk to lose on a railway's workday. By the way, you want to know how really dated this video was? I had a whole section right here in this very spot where it was like, oh, it stinks this didn't get any advertising, but lo and behold, it got more advertising than that one TV commercial in the UK. It's still not very much compared to the previous specials, but I was surprised there was actually a toy tie-in and some website promotion. Like, hey, even my Canadian brethren at Treehouse TV put it on the front page of the website. By the way, sorry we leaked Digs and Discoveries. I guess it was our turn to be the country that leaked everything kind of too early this year.
Blame Canada, because when Canada is gone, there'll be no North to lead the earth. Blame Canada. They're not even a real country anyway.
Also, Rip Thomas on US TV. But hey, the show's on Netflix, so it's all good. But again, I'm glad this was a big fun special that didn't feel pressured or needing to sell a new playset. I'd much rather weird experiments like Steam Team to the Rescue over the bland sterility of Digs and Discoveries, or the entirety of the CG era and their soulless repetitiveness. I've seen people say this is just as bad, but no. No, this stuff actually has a soul and isn't just, hey, our company's kind of dying, just repeat the same thing over and over and sell some more toys. Mattel at least knows story and character are key, which is two things this era very much forgot. Which reminds me, there's one last little thing I gotta discuss with this special before the usual wrap-up stuff. Steam Team ended up marking the debut of a new head writer for the series, David Stoughton, who previously directed the Thomas specials and movies from Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure all the way up to Big World Big Adventures. Keep in mind though, he did not write or direct the special, as those were respectively handled by Davey Moore, who has produced several episodes for the series since season 17, the first season from the previous head writer Andrew Brenner, and Joey So, who made his debut directing the Digs and Discovery specials. While it's still a little bit early to tell, I mean this is only one special, it's still pretty interesting seeing how radically different the energy is for both these specials in style. Digs was written by writer Becky Overton, who worked on several episodes beforehand as well, with Brenner head writing for this final season of his. His duties as head writer usually being going over scripts and editing them. And no, he did not leave because of the changes to the show, he just had other projects he was committed to and ultimately wanted to move on to them. Brenner deserves a lot of credit for bringing the series back up to quality, and both of them have turned out really good episodes and specials, but overall I don't think they were the best fit for Digs. Becky takes a more simplistic and laid-back approach to her writing, which I feel works well with episodes and a Christmas Carol retelling special, but not so much for two specials intended to be the big event for the year. With Brenner being busy on other projects, hence why he's been less and less involved with the series since the reboot began planning, I'm guessing he likely didn't change much from the original script. Meanwhile, this special mixes in Stoughton's previous experience with the high-energy specials, Moore's knack for comedy and good female representation, and Joey So's already promising action direction. The three overall make a pretty good team, and in all honesty, make for what I think Mattel wanted the series to be like a lot better than the previous two seasons. There's still been a lot of great episodes and writers through these, but I feel like this is the point where they finally got a concrete understanding of what to do with the series going forward. I'm genuinely excited to see what Stoughton has to offer, considering this fits in the fast-paced tone much better than the previous seasons, where they had to still adjust to everything, and some did a good job, but then others were like, oh, that's the end of the episode, I guess. One other thing my friends wanted to mention is someone on SIF called The Colonel theorized that this might have been a spec script by Davey Moore, but I'll link it down below. It explains one or two things, but personally I'm not too big on it. I think this was long after Moore joined the team. He probably just got the call for a Steam Team special to whip up for the season, and also this video is running way longer than I usually do for rambling, so I better wrap this up. In conclusion, Steam Team to the Rescue ain't gonna appeal to every fan, but my lord did I love this special. Like, I'm gonna get lynched for this, but it's genuinely sort of becoming one of my personal favorite new specials. It's not perfect by any means, no, there's still a lot of flaws, but the chaotic tone, catchy music, comedy, and action are just overall a joy to go through. It is a very fun way to end a very oddball and transitional season for the series as it adjusts to new staff and writers.
Ranger on the Rails came out after this, crap.
Honestly, after doing these videos, maybe I will cover the two specials coming for the 75th anniversary next year. But for now, these took a little bit of time to get through, and everything's been kind of busy, so it's time for me to head back to work on my other stuff. Blech. Boy, I can't believe it's over. It's a whole two-part review and it's done, so I'll see y'all next time. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's how it goes, right? Also, why is Big Mickey a thing? He didn't do a lot in this special, and also Cranky actually bothered to go help one of his brethren when she was about to go overboard, and he just sat there. What's your damage, Big Mickey?
You're really choked up about this, aren't you?
Hello, Thomas. How'd your first run of the day go?
Splendid! Right on time, dry rails, and smooth running.
Too much running, you might say. All that speeding up Selgrove Hills has made me feel giddy. Not to mention a speedy ride for the passengers.
Don't worry, I try to keep my passengers comfortable as much as I can.
Hello again, Slowcoat. Better hurry if you're going to catch me.
Oh, here we go again.
Later, Casey.
Oh, see ya, Thomas.
Come on, Thomas. You'll need to go fast if you want to make this best 2 out of 3.
See you at the hills, Bertie.
Why do you always have to rush up here? Your passengers will be cross about this.
What? Oh, excellent! 5 minutes early and 15 minutes till Nimington.
Oh, thank you kindly, Thomas. I'll let you off this time, but don't go playing that kind of stuff with the next train. It was exciting for me, but not so much for the other passengers. Toodaloo! Right then, Thomas. Up for another race?
Not at the moment. I've got to get back to doing work properly. Maybe another day. Bye, Bertie!
Goodbye then, Thomas.
Right then, Luke. What do you want me to do while you guys are gone?
Well, Tracy, I want you to arrange the goods train that Wartime's picking up later today. Can you manage moving the wagons in place?
Of course I can. Why do you think the tower called me to work here?
Because you like to do big jobs?
How did you know?
Well, that's what Humphrey and Roderick told me at your yard.
Oh, I knew that.
Now, we've got to go and pick up a package from the Gradinia Goods Depot. So, make sure things are done when we come back.
Right, time to get to work. This load's gonna need to be shifted fast. Better get on it. Just move. Please, just move. Come on, please move. Come on, move. Come on, please, just move. Oh, how am I gonna move these wagons? I've handled this kind of work before. That's it! Let's go get those other wagons.
crazy. Really good work. You get that whole set in just 10 minutes?
Yep, all that lot was easy. After the first try.
The first try?
I'll tell you in a bit.
But have you seen the Carville shunter around here? The locomotive should be fetching my express coaches for the 11:45 train.
Well, you're looking at him. Hey, Gordon. I'm taking over Puffle's shift while he's taking a goods train down to Groflin Harbor. Besides, someone has to look after another's job.
You do have a point there, but not all things can be easy, like shunting coaches for one's passenger run. Is an important job for an important engine like the very Doncaster you're looking at.
You're one to talk. Anyway, you seem to pique someone's curiosity, Gordon, as I am tempted to know what it feels like to pull such an impressive train full of travelers from all around the world.
And what a fancy train this is, my dear Casey. The Express, an example of elegance on the rails. Miles of the railway's finest coaches racing along the lines with a fine big engine in front. Like me. He pulls like a bullet train on the line, ensuring that
Yeah, I know the deal. Expresses are the big fancy trains that only stop at the big important station. And the locals are the ones that go to all the stations on the line. Blah, blah, blah-de-blah, blah. We're all so happy in the end.
You watch your mouth there. Not to sound propulsive or anything, but I think that a circus locomotive, such as yourself, should be better off pulling a train down the rubbish and recycling yard. Now go and fetch my coaches.
Hey, is that my train seat, Junior?
Yep, all ready to go down to Sailbread City.
Wait!
Hey, what's the matter, Gordon?
You're taking my coaches.
Whoa, wait a minute. If I'm taking your coaches, who's gonna take my cars then?
Casey Jr., why would you go and do that?
You didn't say where to bring your coaches, Gordon. Sayonara.
Oh, the indignity.
Hey, Pete. What's up?
Oh, morning, Tilly. These trucks are needed at Cliffstone Mountain Quarry urgently, but these little buggers are living up to that name. Timothy's waiting to collect them at Baseline Quarry.
Would you like me to take them there for you?
Not too sure. There's still lots of shunting to do here in the yards today.
Please? I'm up for the challenge.
Well, all right, if you're sure. I'll go and get Rosie to help while you're gone. Take care with this lot, Tilly. They're not called troublesome trucks for nothing.
Don't worry about me, Pete. I'm always up for a challenge. Hello, Edward.
Hello, Tilly. You need help with those troublesome trucks?
No, thank you, Edward.
Hold back! Hold back!
Oh, no, you don't!
Goes above and be... Yeah, goes above and be...
That's better.
That must be... Whoa! Tilly, did those give any trouble to your hole?
No trouble at all, Timothy. They were very well behaved.
Wow! You're a natural pulling trouble some trucks, Tilly. If only I was as good as you.
Thank you, Timothy.
Now let's get these trucks over to the siding.
Your express runs again?
You bet. And off to the loading dock, I assume?
Yeah, and we gotta get going, Rishaira. The boat's probably waited ages for us. All right, cool your pistons, Grace. We'll get it done in twice the time any old crane can.
Well, good luck, you two. Oh, and mind the...
Ugh, what is that smell? Ugh.
Pong.
About here is. I mean, it's a little bit stinky, but stiffest above is it a real pong. It's like 2 tons of old boiler sludge mixed with 1 ton of engine ash and 2 wagons of stinky cheese all boiled together in an oven. I'm telling you, it's the worst smell I've smelled since the holy hydraulics. Look out below! Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear! I'm so sorry. I wasn't paying attention and I bungled it up. No worries. At least it solved that fishy situation.
Hi, you two. You got my load of salmon to take to the Birmingham Station Cafe?
Davey, I have some news. It's awesome. And you're inside a bubble. Oh, hey, Alexander. What the hell are you doing? You know, just floating around at the moment. No context for the giant plastic bag you've wrapped yourself in. Huh. Have you not watched the news lately? There's a virus going around that I have no intention of getting. But no buts, Alexander. In times like this, we have to practice self-isolation. Davey. Now, since I'm a tug, I can't really go anywhere, so I'm self-quarantining inside this bubble. It's perfect. I've got all the coal I need. Everything's gonna be fine. Davey! You're a piece of machinery. So? You can't catch COVID-19. It's a human thing. So the bubble... Completely unnecessary. Huh. So what was the news you had? You might as well tell me before I run out of oxygen in here. You didn't cut any air holes in there? Alexander, let's just establish that I really didn't think this through. So what's the news? Oh, well, our new show, Anderson Harbor the Series, premieres in June. No way! It's only 2 years late and any hype friend has died down by now, but that's still exciting! Well, it's a 10-episode first season, so new episodes will roll out every other Saturday starting on June 6th, 2020. That's all fine and dandy, Alexander, but we gotta show them something. We gotta leave them wanting more. Ooh! I know what we'll do! Roll that theme song! Wait, no, Davey, that's supposed to be a surprise.